Hey everyone, Halseion here, and today I'll be drawing Catwoman using acrylic markers. I've got all my tools ready and fresh page in my sketchbook, and I'm excited to see how this turns out. Stick around until the end because I'll be sharing the full process from a rough sketch all the way to the finished illustration. Alright, let's get started. Before touching the markers, I always start with a quick sketch. Notice I'm not chasing perfection here, I'm just blocking in the biggest shapes first to establish the overall structure. Once those are in place, I gradually work my way into the smaller details. The goal isn't to create a finished pencil drawing, it is simply to capture the subject well enough that everything is in the right place. This sketch is nothing more than a roadmap. Most of these pencil lines will disappear once the markers go on, so spending extra time perfecting them doesn't really add much. Foundation is all you need. The real magic happens in the next step, where these rough guidelines start transforming into the final artwork. Now it's time for coloring. I always begin by blocking in the base colors. At this stage, I am not worried about details yet. I am simply creating a clean, even foundation that every other layer will build on. For Catwoman's mask, I outlined the shape first before filling it in. It helps me stay inside the edges and makes the coverage much cleaner. Once the base layer is down, I start introducing the midtones. This is where the drawing begins to gain dimension. I don't always know exactly which colors I end up using, so I'm constantly experimenting, layering different marker shades and seeing how they interact. Sometimes the colors I expect to work don't, and other times, unexpected combinations produce the best results. As the values become more established, I gradually move into the darker tones. Instead of jumping straight to the darkest marker, I build the shadows little by little. Layering gives me so much smoother transitions and makes the forms feel more natural and three-dimensional. One thing I always keep in mind is that markers dry differently than they look when they're first applied. A color can seem much darker or lighter while it's still wet, so I try to be patient before deciding whether it needs another layer. Throughout the process, I'm constantly comparing different parts of the drawing. If something looks slightly off, whether it's the proportions, the placement of the feature, or the balance of the values, I make small adjustments before moving on. Tiny corrections like this can make a huge difference in the final result. Highlights are another area that I spend a lot of time refining. They are not just bright spots, they define the material, the lighting, and the overall mood of the piece. Sometimes I'll soften them, sometimes I'll make them stronger, depending on what creates the best contrast. Rendering is really just a cycle of observation and adjustment. I keep switching between adding color, deepening shadows, defining edges, and strengthening highlights. Every pass adds a little more depth and realism. The biggest lesson here is that finished artwork isn't created in one perfect layer. It's built through dozens of small decisions, testing colors, adjusting values, correcting mistakes, and trusting the process one step at a time. As more layers come together, the flat sketch slowly transforms into something that feels alive, and that's always the most rewarding part of working with markers. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.